Hello, everyone. Welcome to me as HarukaJunko, a GM of the Robotech system over on Lucas G Varieties channel. And over here we have Grubby from his YouTube channel, JAAD.
Yep, also known as Jay from JAAD Productions. I've made a bunch of videos on this Robotech system before, including a couple of different things explaining the system and characters. I'm a huge fan of it.
Yep, and today we're here at the request of SMG Games, also known as Strange Machine Games, the people who produced this game, and Strange Machine Games Jeff, to help you walk through a couple of the different things in this game, which this video today is going to be focusing on character creation. We're going to show you guys how it all works using the new stuff and the old stuff to show that, unlike most other systems which would have a separate edition or something like that with the new expansion, instead, it's just going to literally add on to the old stuff, allowing players to have a lot more of a freeform time with this.
Yeah, so I'll be making two characters in this video. First is a combat-focused character, and then the second is a non-focused combat character, using the rules from the Kickstarter Homefront supplement for the Robotech Macross Saga. So, hugely excited about that. So, we will get straight into it, I suppose. Great GM, what is the first step in character creation?
Well, the first step is obviously trying to figure out what idea you're going to go with. You're going to review the story, talk with the GM, and figure this out, and then you're going to choose your race. And for this, your first one, I am limiting your character creation to a human or Zentradi character in the ASC Masters Era timeline as a member of the ASC.
Okay, so if that's the story we're going with, I will comply. That makes him nice and easy. I think I'll just go with standard, okay, question. Can I play a macronized Zentradi?
Alas, no. Due to the regulations of the Zentradi and ASC, macronized Zentradi have been outlawed. Though you could check, but if you would wish to argue with this, it is possible for you to maybe tag along with the group. So, in this case, if you can come up with a good reason for it to sound good in the story, that's good. But you may be forced to micronize later.
Okay, well then to keep things simple, I'm just going to play as a human.
Alright? And just so people know, Micronized and Zentradi and humans have the same stat block overall.
Yes, they only really vary if you are playing a macronized one. The Tyroleans as well also use the human stat block in Homefront, and the Invid use a vastly different racial block as well, so that's certainly interesting.
Indeed, and with the projects coming down the line after this one, of course, the Kabarans and other such ones will have their own stat lines, which will represent their rather different evolutionary cycles.
Neat. So the next step after my race is choosing my career. And my career determines a lot about my character. Is there any indication about what kind of adventure you might be throwing me into, or should I just jump in and make this combat-focused character?
I'm thinking that this combat-focused character, you can choose what you want to jump into. This one is very much going to be a campaign where many things are going to be used, as the ASC is an era in which people have to just kind of use what they can.
Okay, well, in that case, I'm going to choose probably the most basic and well-known career, the first career in the Macross book, which is the pilot career.
Yep, always a good choice, because pilots can really fit into any role, but the one big thing about this system here is the careers do not take them as locking you into one specific thing. You as a player can use these as a framework rather than a class in D&D or something. These provide you with the bare minimum to start your character, and then you'll be able to enhance them through either play or with the enhancement points we'll get to later.
Okay. Well, being a pilot, I get, first things first, I get a piloting talent, in addition to the one granted by my element. I'm really itching to try out the Homefront's brand new elements that it introduces, with one for every new career. So I'm going to try the Homefront's new Recon Pilot element.
Alright, yeah, so you're going to use the Homefront Recon Pilot, which elements in this allow you to kind of fit your character into the way that you kind of want them to start out playing. And these will, if you play into the elements, allow you to enhance your chances of rolling successfully on the dice, and also give you a good chance of maybe getting some extra story rewards out of the GM later on. So the Recon Pilot, though, to cover it, is with the free rules that have been supplied, the SMG Discord. With communications knocked out and electromagnetic interferences, the best way to get information about the enemy and the outside world is to go in search of it. You're in your element when you are alone, out on the lam, seeking information and providing it to others. You are quick thinking and always have a contingency plan if things go sideways. And you will start out as rank 1 corporal.
Okay, well that answers my next one about what my rank is.
And your talent is called AWACS. The flavor text in these books, by the way, is absolutely great, and one of my favorite parts of this stuff. Each talent has its own little bit of flavor text. AWACS is flying real low, skim those heels. I want to see the milkmaid skirt fly up, hit them hard and fast. And what this mechanically allows you to do is during the first round of conflicts or a combat, you gain 1 extra action, which you can use to take any support action. This allows you to take 3 actions in total. You must be piloting a mecha or aerial vehicle with advanced sensors or ECM to take advantage of this talent. All that means is when combat first starts, you will be able to take an extra action in the first phase of a combat, which will be the support phase, to allow you to assist, obscure, or observe the area around you.
Yeah, so pretty good at supporting. I like this. And so the element is my area of training, and this all works together to be my general sort of role in the party. So, after my rank, now that I've determined that, as a rank 1 corporal, which, don't mind that I've spelt wrong, I get my starting equipment. So, my starting equipment's pretty simple. I get 1 kit, an armor that is a flight suit, 1 hand weapon, a combat knife, and a pistol. So, that's all pretty standard there.
Yep, and your kit, for people wondering what that might be, that's just a piece of equipment, or set of equipment that the player has access to that they can use to perform different things, be it a camouflage kit, a survival kit, or a communications kit. Each one provides a different bonus in a different way.
Yeah, since I'm a recon pilot, with an emphasis on scouting and moving around and observing, I think I'm going to take a communications kit, which will hopefully allow me to communicate better with my friendlies should I get shot down or have to get out of my Veritech on foot and need to set up like a little communications post or something.
Never a bad idea. That allows you to... And I could also see it being used to help you do even scanning or such like that, maybe hooking it into your fighter systems.
That's a potential thing as well, depending on what you decide to go with. So, now that that's done, we have the AWAC talent, which is my career talent. Next, I get to pick 1 piloting talent. For the piloting talent that I'm going to pick, I'm going to take the countermeasures talent, which will enable me to make better use of countermeasure-based equipment suites, which are used for evading missiles. I don't think the Robotech Masters have any missiles, and if they do, I don't want to get hit by them anyway.
Indeed, Robotech Masters, while their mecha may be diminutive in size, are not something that you should be dismissing. Especially some of their ships. The assault dropship is definitely a threat that airborne boys like you will have to face.
It's 120 meters long. I fear it. Okay, so that is everything from my career now. So the career is basically laid out the basics of everything, except for my proficiencies, which I almost glossed over, which, as a pilot, I get the highest number of proficiencies amongst all the careers. So I have to take 1 mecha and all of its variants. That's a minimum requirement. Then I have a number of choices between various different proficiencies. So, GM, I think I'm going to start out taking the Logan as a proficiency, the VF Logan, and all of its variants, because I know that there's a variant of it called the Eagle Eye, which is a recon variant.
Definitely not a bad idea. The Logan, well, maybe not the most impressive looking mech with its duck-like stance, is very much still the main powerhouse of the ASC for
It's a
the
beast
early
bristling
years.
with firepower.
Oh yes, for the early middle years of the war, it's definitely the main firehouse, main piece of Veritech fire support that a lot of ground forces are going to see, at least up until the AJAAD comes in.
Yeah. And you haven't specified when in the Second Robotech War that I'm playing, so I think the Logan is a safe bet. Now, I get 2 other proficiencies, which can be taken from a host of different things. So I'm going to take another mecha, because I particularly want another mecha. There's one in my mind that I'm after, called the VF Sylphid. It's an interceptor, not really suitable for my element, but it could pay to have that proficiency.
You never know what you're going to find out in the field should you get shut down. Having another thing that you can fly is definitely going to be something that can help you in the long run. Not to mention that sometimes you don't need to look at what's coming to know what's coming.
Yeah. And then I get a third proficiency, because I get 1 mecha, then I get to select 2 others. Just for the sake of it, because I know there's a lot of EWAC stuff, in the aerial vehicle department for, not only the Macross Saga, but also the Southern Cross. I think I'm going to take the proficiency of all aerial vehicles, which will give me proficiency across everything under the aerial vehicle tag.
Alright, yep. That allows you to cover a vast wide range of, even though I just said basically the same word twice, of proficiencies to allow you to figure out what you need to pilot and when.
Yeah, I
On
figure
top of
that
it, though,
will be very helpful.
On top of it, though, people who are watching, the proficiencies is not like other systems where if you do not have the proficiency, you cannot fly. You can still fly even if you do not have the proficiency. You will just be suffering a negative modifier to your rolls should you need to get into combat or do actual tests with it.
Yeah, so if I get shot down at some point and the only thing available to me is like a salamander, I can hop in that salamander, but I will be operating at disadvantage to actions in that salamander. So it can save my life, but it means piloting is going to be a little bit harder on things I'm not proficient in, but I can still do it, which is always a handy thing to know. So step 3 after this is, after recording my talents, is and everything else that my career gives me. After this is selecting my skills.
Yep. And the way you do this is you literally just select from the list of skills in either one of the books, and you just choose the ones that are going to feel like they fit to your character.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of some of the skills in Homefront, so I think I'm going to take as many from that as I can.
Yep. And for those people who are watching while he's selecting his skills in this system are not rigid like other systems. They're very much loose. Characters may, for example, the Alpha Strike talent here. Normally, one would think that would be something like you're meant to be shooting something with everything. And while true, it does work like that, you can actually use it in social and technical situations. For example, with a social situation, you may lead with facts and arguments to stun and overwhelm your opponent's position, so that way you may come out the victor in the argument. Or in a technical situation, you might use it to just salvage the best pieces of any mecha that you can find and try to get your ace pilot back in the air as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Skills in this are very flexible.
Yeah, it's extremely flexible as an umbrella system, in which you can attempt to use any skill as anything so long as you can justify it. And you use the cost and benefits associated with those skills to kind of help guide you as you figure it out. in this case, I'm not going to record the benefits and costs for now, but I will put that in like before the session begins. But the 6 skills I have chosen at level 1 are Alpha Strike, By the Book, Treasure Hunter, Scanning Sweep, which I think is the only one I've taken. Yes, the only one I've taken from the Macross Saga book. Fade to Black, and Keep Pushing Forward.
Alright. These are all good little talents that are skills that will allow you to make a pretty rounded pilot character who's pretty good at supporting, but also still pretty good at fighting.
Yep. So the next step after that is to apply my skill points. So to keep it simple for this character, I think I'm just going to take from one of the arrays and the specialized array. Although,
Alright.
Yeah, I'm just going to take from one of the arrays.
Yep. That'll be the easiest for people who are new to the system and want to kind of get a more rounded and or focused character easier. Though there are still other ways to make your character with skills, such as taking from the free form, which allows you to spread 15 points across your skills, in which you must have a minimum 1 in all of them, but may not exceed 4. There's variable rolling, which allows you to roll 2d6, and whatever number you get on those 2d6, you add 8 to it, and that's how many skill points you get to throw around. Or hardcore rolling, which is one I do not recommend for people who are not ready, who are not okay with your character possibly coming out a little bit weaker. In which you roll 1d6.
Yeah, I've seen some hilarious factors in that in a game I ran. Alright, but I've now assigned my skill points.
Alright. Yep.
So I've got 3 in Alpha Strike, 4 in By the Book, 4 in Treasure Hunter, 1 in Scanning Sweep, but I'm hoping to enhance that a little bit. 1 in Fade to Black, and 2 in Keep Pushing Forward. And the value of the skill is the number of d6 that I'm going to roll when I attempt to use that skill as part of a challenge.
Mm-hmm. And you'll be able to see this character do these things with these people in one of the other videos that we posted up in the Kickstarter along with this one.
Yes. So now I'm going to be choosing the nature. So natures, you basically have 2 of them. There's your demeanor and your disposition. And they're kind of how your character acts. Now, I'm thinking this character is very professionally motivated, very by-the-book professional soldier, somewhat new to the academy, new to the ASC, who kind of follows the regulations as they're meant to be. Kind of that a bookworm, classic, shiny boots soldier, who's here to do their duty and nothing else. So, I'm going to start with the disposition of, let's go with formal.
Alright.
But I like characters who are at odds with themselves internally, so for their demeanor, I'm gonna say, or rather, formal is how they act inside, demeanor is how they present themselves. So in this case, I'm gonna say their demeanor is probably something a little, I'm gonna say icy is the term I'm gonna use, or cold. Cold-hearted. We'll go with that.
Alright, that definitely sounds good. And for people wondering if this plays into the mechanics or anything, natures will allow you to re-roll if you play into the character's nature with your actions. So, if he's, if he's going in and he gets a bad roll, but he's playing to his one of his natures, such as he's using the, dedicated combat patterns that have been drilled into his head by his trainers, or maybe since he's cold or cold-hearted, he maybe moves out of the way to let his wingman take most of the hits. He could then get a reroll on that roll to be able to possibly do a little bit better.
Yeah. So that is step 6. So on to step 7. Step 7 is every player, in addition to the 2 talents you get given from the career that you pick, you get 1 additional free talent just across the board.
Yep.
So there's a lot of options across both of these books. A lot of different things. I think I might go with maybe advanced maneuvering.
Always good. Definitely allows you to...
I'm thinking Fox Amongst the Hounds instead, actually.
Ooh, definitely an interesting choice. For those wondering, advanced maneuvering is a talent that gives you an equipment suite to basically try to avoid enemy fire, do intense maneuvers. But due to
Yeah.
the amount of stress you're putting on your airframe, it does damage to the vessel.
Yeah, it does damage to the vessel, and while that's really cool and I like how that looks, I think that might be something I grab second. Fox Amongst the Hounds also gives me an equipment suite when engaging multiple enemies, but also, and the reason I'm drawn to it immediately, is it gives me another element to represent a field of training I have and an area in which my character excels. And this would be when they are surrounded by multiple weaker enemies. And I think having that extra element is going to not necessarily be helpful all the time if I'm fighting Robotech Masters with their vastly powerful bioroids, but it could be useful in all sorts of situations that I'm not considering yet, and I'd like to have it.
Yeah, no, that's definitely understandable. And depending on how you're actually working with the Fox Amongst the Hounds thing, I might even allow it in a combat situation where possibly you're flying into the middle of the enemy formation to provide
To provide
targeting
additional scanning and stuff. I see it. So, after that, we have to record health. Now, your health is always based on your race. So I have a health of 3 wounds, 3 light wounds, light being a class of damage. So, and 2 of them are designated as Brawl, and 2 of them are designated as, one of them is critical, 2 of them are Brawl.
Yep, the brawl wounds are very easy to heal should they come to blows. Being a quick brawl wound, be it only a light skimming of the skin with a bullet or only light burns. But the critical wounds, if that goes away, if that is taken up by damage, that does mean that he'd be out for a little
really
while.
hurt. The critical, the difference between the designations of these wounds is basically how long they take to heal. So, yeah, I don't want to lose that critical wound, because if you go into negatives at any point, you die, and at 0, you'll go unconscious. Please do not shoot me out of my Logan.
Yep, no, and that would be definitely bad.
Yeah, after this, it is possible to get more wounds through additional talents and enhancements. But the next step after this is to record your burnout. And the burnout at level 1 is 5.
Yep. It's, at current, always 5. Which makes it nice and easy. This basically limits how many dice you are allowed to roll for equipment suites, showing your natural limit to do things. Though, equipment suites do not get affected by this because it works off the rule of work smarter, not harder.
Yeah, so with a burnout of 5, with my skills, not counting any extra dice I get from equipment suites, from equipment I'm using, I can only roll, if I'm rolling using 2 skills at once, I can only roll a maximum of 5 dice before I start taking burnout for every dice I roll over that. So if I chose to use my Buy the Book and Treasure Hunter in combination, I'd be getting 3 extra points of fatigue, which would go right up here in my stress box, which is,
It's definitely not good. It will, many actions may, or some of the actions that players can do, may actually give you stress, and as such, or environmental effects such as seeing the death of one of your allies, or something along those lines. And should his stress max out, the GM, being me in this case, then tells him a very, it can be specific or narrow, or specific or wide-reaching compulsion that he has as his character just kind of snaps underneath the pressure of the combat.
Yep, and suffers a mental break. And dramas also take up a space in there, so that's.
And dramas are fatigue, but they last until you complete a certain thing, as they're very much story-based arcs for the player.
Yeah. So the next step is step 10 for recording my speed. So my speed as a regular-sized humanoid is 30 meters, or 3 ground units.
Yep. and that's the standard for micronized Zentradi, humans, and Tyroleans. Giant Zentradi, however, move at 13 ground units. Having a
And
longer leg
Invid
definitely
slugs,
helps.
they vary wildly. And
Now,
then we come at last to the final step.
the enhancement section, which, for this one, you get 5 points in which you may spend them for a number of things. For example, you could buy a new talent for 4 points, a proficiency for 1 point, increase your rank or fame for 2 points, get a new skill for 3 points or an extra brawl wound for 3 points, or gain an extra movement speed gain an extra point of movement speed for 2 points, or even get an extra piece of gear that you might have saw in the book and really, really like for 1 point.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be relatively simple how I spend my points. For my enhanced points, I'm going to spend 2 to increase one of my skills by 1. And I'm going to just use that to bump up scanning sweep to 2. And then after that, that leaves me with 3 points. I'm going to spend 1 of them on getting a extra proficiency. I love ASC Battloids. I really, really like them. So in this way, I can be a ground pilot if needs be.
Yeah, no, makes sense.
So this way, I can do a lot of different things as a recon pilot, and man, just about anything that involves scanners and sensors for the ASC, making me really useful to my party. I hope. I hope. And then with my remaining 2 points, I will decide to grab myself. I think I will go for a fame increase.
Oh.
No particular reason for it. I like the idea that my character, wherever I'm stationed, is maybe just a little bit famous. I'm starting to get an idea of maybe they have certain hobbies, like acting, for example. I'm actually thinking, for their backstory, that they are a somewhat amateurish actor with pretty decent skills. So I think I'm just going to take 1 level of fame.
Yeah, no. And fame, for those who may be wondering about that, fame is ranks for entertainers, or, a separate rank system. It tells how famous or well-known you are within, like, a certain group or a certain area.
Yep, and that concludes everything I have left, except for naming my character, which I will come up with in a minute alongside the rest of their backstory, but at this point, I've completed creating this character.
Yep. And that took us, I think,
that took
minutes?
us 28 minutes, minus
28
our
minutes.
little introduction. A little slow there, because we stopped to explain everything, but it's still relatively quick. Normally I can pump one of these out in like 15 minutes, even less.
Yep. And so we're going to do one more this time, but this time we're going to do it for one of the non-combat classes. And so, Grubby, for this time, just to start you off with your reviewing the story section, this time it is 2042. It's, at this point, the 21st Mars Division has failed its initial assault, and you are a member of one of the resistance factions on Earth, but as such, being a civilian in the Resistance, you're not exactly a trained soldier.
Okay. So, brief little thing where I brought up another character sheet right there. So, you said it was 2044, and I
2042.
2042. Okay, so 21st Mars invasion.
Yep. And that has recently just failed, and you've been able to see the shooting stars of a failed invasion coming down past the town which your resistance faction is stationed.
Okay. Well, I think I want to use the new career from Homefront, where I want to be the Nomad career.
The Nomad. That is the new one, which allows you to, which is more or less a setup for playing someone equivalent to Ram from the New Generation series.
Yeah, for my element, I'm gonna go with the Explorer.
Alright? So you have no master, the world is yours to rediscover. You only care about pressing forward, surviving, and learning. You wander to unite people, spread news of victory, or to find a new place to settle. You're in your element when surviving in the harshest conditions, traversing the most arduous terrain, and discovering the unknown.
Neat. So I'm very good at the survival and going overland. My talent is caches. So what are my proficiencies? And my rank will be 0.
Your rank is 0 or corporal, but at this point, since you're part of the resistance, it's probably more likely 0.
Okay.
And
So then my proficiencies, I guess.
Yep. So the proficiencies you get are all ground vehicles to start with. And then you can select one of any of the following. Any single mecha plus variants, any single space vehicle, all aerial vehicles, all ground vehicles. Wait. Looks like that's a typo there. All surface naval vessels, any single space naval vessel, or any single mecha upgrade.
Okay, but I do have access to picking a single mecha proficiency?
Yes, you do.
Okay, I am gonna go with the Cyclone.
Ah, yes, Cyclone. I see you want to start a bike gang too.
I do. So, after that, so with my proficiencies, what is my other career talent other than caches?
Your other career talent, other than caches, is as follows. One talent from any category. To represent that people who are surviving out in the wilderness just pick up what they can.
Okay, for this, I am thinking I'm going to lean into perhaps... I'm thinking of social talent. I'm gonna go with Sentimental Trinket.
Oh, have a little sentimental, have a little trinket from back home or something. Maybe of a long lost love.
Yeah. A long-lost love in the form of a book I must deliver to a friend's, deceased father after leaving him to die.
But you totally didn't kill him.
I love Lunk, but,
Yeah, no, it's totally fine. You have a book and you're trying to deliver it to this man's father after leaving him to die horribly at the hands of the Invid. In fact, you probably even backed over him just to check.
Ooh, okay, that's a little mean. Okay. So then I guess the next question I have is, what gear do I start with?
So, for your gear, you are going to start with the following. Once I get back to the careers again. Your equipment is as follows. 1 hoverbike, 1 pistol, 1 rifle of any kind, a survival kit, and any one other kit.
Am I allowed to take rifles from any part of Homefront?
I would say that your rifle should be limited to lower end UEF such as the Gallant or the any ASC rifle.
Okay, I really like the AASC's LAR laser rifle.
Alright. The laser rifle is never a bad choice.
Yep, I love that modularity that it has in the rules. So it was the hoverbike, pistol, LAR-10, and then...
a survival kit, and any one other kit.
Alright, well, it's definitely got to be a camouflage spy kit.
Definitely not a bad choice due to the amount of Invid that are constantly swarming over the Earth.
Yes. So then that is everything from this career. So at this point, I'm just follow the same stuff as before, with a large variety of skills and all sorts of things at my disposal that I can easily fill out here. So I definitely want things like... scanning sweep. I probably want things like, rapid fire, because I imagine I'm going to be rapid firing my mouth a lot.
Never a bad choice for the sassy man inside of you.
Yep. I definitely like taking, perhaps, bunch of other skills. I'll think of them real quick and type them out.
Yeah. But as you can see, once you get into the flow of things, building a character is really quick and easy. And it only takes about once or twice to really know how easy it is to get through this. But as I was saying before, though, with the one extra type of rolling, there is hardcore rolling, which allows for 1d6 minus 2 6 times, and whatever number you roll is whatever the skill value is for your dice for that skill. It's a very dangerous set of rolling, but it can make a really effective character if you want to play the risk-reward gamble.
Yeah. I think here I will just take another stat array for the purposes of expedience in this video.
Of course.
So that'll be nice and simple. The 6 ones I went with were Scanning Sweep, Rapid Fire, Treasure Hunt, Psychoanalysis, Alpha Strike, and Tradecraft. A huge spread all over the board.
Mm-hmm. A little bit of a couple of things, a little bit of spy stuff, a little bit of social, a little bit of combat. Nothing too focused, but you use what you can get to get by in this world.
Yeah, and I'm just going to go for the versatile array to get me a good round number in each of them.
Yep, the versatile array gives him a 3, 3, 3, and 3 2s.
Yeah. Then for my natures, I'm going to go... I'm going to go cowardly.
A little bit scared on the inside, a little bit of worried about the world.
And since I love contradicting characters for the other nature, I'm gonna go... I'm gonna go flamboyant. I have in my head
Definitely,
now a very crazy character idea for this character.
A very ladies' man kind of person.
I think if it levels up, it's probably gonna lean closer towards skewing towards being an entertainer.
Definitely an option, because as you level up in the system, you get build points, which you can then use to maybe move over to a different career, or even grab a new element or talents to move yourself to one end of the spectrum or not. Because remember, these careers are very much frameworks to build the character out of. Everything here, from the way that the talents are worded and the way that skills are worded, is to help you visualize the character.
Yep, and I've almost finished filling out the character sheet. I never decided on my race. I'm gonna go with Tyrolean.
No, you're a Tyrolean, one of the masters on the run.
Yeah, but I'm not part of a triumvirate. It's a fun, different kettle of fish that I think would be very interesting. Then I only have left, the only thing is I've picked my third talent for Snipe. It is going to be my third talent.
Planning to use that to get the drop on some people?
Absolutely. The idea is hopefully to camouflage myself and shoot those Invid in the eye as they walk past my little sniper's nest.
Definitely a possibility.
Since I hopefully will know the terrain better than them. And then I have no fame, and I just need a name for this character as well, and I'm already done. I already have reached the enhancement stage, and for the enhancement stage, I will probably get another talent with Infiltration Specialist.
Never a bad choice. Allows you to kind of get that extra little bit for when you're hidden.
Yep, for that edge and stealth. And then I'll spend my final enhancement point on another proficiency. I particularly in this is 2042, so I really love the third generation Destroids, so I'm going to take proficiency in those. just in case you throw one my way.
Hey, you never know what you're going to salvage out there.
And that is it. That's 2 characters created. The second one, so fast. And that is using all of the rules and a whole array of stuff from the 2 books and Homefront here, which is pretty phenomenal. And this is the real basics of what it's like to create a character.
Yep. And as we've shown, this is with all of the options available to you, and as we've shown, it's really easy to get into, and it's really easy to help build this character with everything that you choose, helping you figure out how you want this character to react, act, and how you want to figure them out. And yeah, no, that's just how easy it is.
Yeah. And this Homefront book introduces a lot of options. Like, I tried to use only options from Homefront, or as many as I could, in both of these characters, but I barely used any. There's so many. So, it is a very big expansion. The fact that the core rules are in the Macross book, and Homefront is completely dedicated to just an expansion on everything from the character creation and new talents, careers, elements, all of that, new skills, and then on top of that, the vast array of lore, and then the huge swath of equipment available. There's a lot to pick from, so I really like this. But I think that's it from us. We've finished making these 2 characters. Please, if you're interested, support the Kickstarter for Robotech role-playing game by Strange Machine Games, the Homefront.
Yep. And remember, this is also an addition to the base rules, which should be available as a add-on to the Kickstarter rewards.
Yes, so the Macross book is available now and available as an add-on, I believe.
And to close this out, I've been HarukaJunko, the GM of the hour, or Robotech Master, as I love to call myself. And we hope that everyone here is going to help support and make this project a reality.